Welcome back to Washington Watch. I'm Tony Perkins, your host. So glad that you are with us on this special edition of Washington Watch, where we are looking at Religious Freedom Day. And of course, it's focused on our domestic religious freedom, but it's hard to look at religious freedom here and not address it internationally. Yesterday on the program, Dr. David Curry was on. We were talking about the state of religious persecution for Christians around the world. And of course, China at the top of the list as a place most dangerous for Christians to be. And unfortunately, China is exporting their intolerance to many other countries. In fact, there's evidence suggests that there's upwards of 80 countries, different jurisdictions that they are using their influence with to export some of the techniques, the technology rather, that they're using to monitor religious minorities there in China. Joining me now to talk more about this is Dr. Bob Fu. He is a senior fellow for international religious freedom here at the Family Research Council, and he has a new book out called The Politics of Inclusive Pluralism, a proposed foundation for religious freedom in a post-communist democratic China. Bob, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Tony, for having me back.
I know you've been occupied here. You've been a target of the Chinese for your outspoken voice on behalf of the persecuted there in China.
Yes, I am. I mean, unfortunately, here in West Texas, we had to be exiled from our own house because of these Chinese communist or communist sympathizers gathered in front of a house for over a month, harassing us for our voice for religious freedom in China. So this shows, the penetration of the Communist Party even deeper in the American society.
Yeah, that they would feel free to even move into West Texas, of all places. Why are they so afraid of religious freedom?
I think, Tony, religious freedom is the first freedom. And the Communist Party is a party of control and suppression for any independence, thoughts, association. And when you have religious freedom, they know the freedom of association, freedom of conscience, and freedom of thoughts would come after that naturally. So that's why the Chinese Communist Party is very scared of citizens' religious freedom, because when you have God, as the only head of the church, when you believe and trust Christ is the only Lord of all your life, and not the Chinese Communist Party, not President Xi Jinping, they are very scared. They thought that is the so-called political subversive religion. So that's why they had been subject to all the Christian churches and Christian leaders and believers who exercise their religious freedom from the congregation to their household, into the confinement, into the deep persecution and control mood.
So, given that, should the United States continue to put an emphasis on religious freedom and the abuses that China is engaged in as it pertains to their people and their ability to worship God?
Oh, absolutely. So that's why I really applaud for the Trump administration and the USCIRF. You are the chairman of the USCIRF that have put religious freedom as a forefront U.S. foreign policy initiative. And we are really a city on the hill. Hopefully, by Lord's help, we can keep it the republic. And I'm very now concerned about the trend. But, when Pastor Wang Yi was sentenced to 9 years for simply preaching a sermon, asking President Xi Jinping to repent for his repressive religious policy. When another Pastor Li recently sentenced to 5.5 years for refusing to install a Communist Party flag in front of the church. I mean, these are the things struck the core of what we believe in, what America is about, and what our founding fathers was building for this country for. So absolutely, we need to continue to be a voice for those voiceless brothers and sisters and other religious minorities in China.
Very quickly, Dr. Fu, the book, The Politics of Inclusive Pluralism, a Proposed Foundation for Religious Freedom in a Post-Communist Democratic China. Why'd you write the book?
I wrote this book primarily, I found, of course, it's not sustainable for the religious policy under the current Chinese communist regime. And also, I found in the predominantly practiced Western so-called political liberalism model is also has the element of containment of the like evangelical Christian faith to manifest in our society. Like in France, they put secularism as almost their religion of the state. So that's why I just adopt the Abraham Kuyper's principle of pluralism, which basically to allow, with a Christian kind of ideal and foundation in a theological base, at the same time with the pluralism
Fu,
and democratic reform.
We're out of time. We're going to have to leave it there. Thanks for joining us. Folks, stick around. We're coming back after this.